Hola, mi gente. Welcome to My Child, My Voice Parent Connection, brought to you by the National Parents Union, a show for parents by a parent. My name is Wendy Gonzales-Neal. I am the founder and executive director of My Child, My Voice here in Houston, and I'm also the Texas Delegate for the National Parents Union. I am so excited about our show today because we have some updates on some things that are happening here in Texas, but it also is going to be affecting Arizona. So I am so excited to talk about this and sharing this great news. But just to remind you, a little bit of the conversation we're going to be talking about is in the recent last legislative special session in Texas. I got to say Texas. A bill was passed, actually went from regular session to special session. Senate Bill 15, which was signed by the governor, our Texas governor, on September 10th, which allows schools on what they call what they say LEAs or local schools, to receive full average daily attendance, what they call ADA. Don't you just love the way they do these abbreviations with us? Money for remote instructions. So we're going to talk about that today and about how a virtual school is ready to give several options to school. They've already been existing, but because of this bill, they are doing so much more. And I'm so excited to share this information with you. I am so excited to welcome back Kurtis Indorf from Great Hearts. He's the president. And let's bring him aboard and let's talk more about all of these great news. Welcome, Kurtis.
Hi, Wendy. How are you?
I am great. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm excited to be here.
So am I. And then I know a lot of people, it's been a while since you've been on the show. We were so excited the last time you came on the show. You were talking about Great Hearts Online, a virtual school that was serving students here in Texas. Can you kind of give us a little bit more about that and tell us about your mission and vision for those that don't know about Great Hearts?
Absolutely. Well, I think the last time I was on your show, Great Hearts Online was an idea and hadn't actually existed yet. Since then, we launched a school in Texas, launched a school in Arizona, and are looking forward to relaunching Great Hearts Online here in Texas. Great Hearts Online is part of Great Hearts. It's a larger organization. Our mission and core purpose is to cultivate the hearts and minds of students in pursuit of truth, beauty, and goodness. Inside of that, that's a high bar, and that's part of what motivates us. That's part of where the passion comes from to serve families, to educate kids, because inside of that mission is the calling for holistic student formation. We want to help to cultivate, teach, help students learn and become great-hearted young men and women. And so that's why we exist. And Great Hearts Online is taking the classical curriculum and model and mission and purpose, which we've cultivated in brick and mortar charter schools in Texas and Arizona, and putting it into an online format. Really excited about the opportunity and giving choices to parents in different ways.
That is such a great news. I'm all about giving families, another school option. I know I took advantage of it with my youngest son when he was in school. But I like to ask the question I always ask, schools is, what makes your charter school unique than any other charter school?
I think what makes our school unique is our purpose. I think it is what we are pointed toward is a unique thing. You talk to other charter schools and they'll have words and phrases like student achievement and academic success, and those things are important. But part of our mission, cultivate the hearts and minds of students in the pursuit of truth, beauty, and goodness, is a really high bar. We're talking about who your child, who your scholar is, who they become. And academic success must be true on the way for that path, right? Their character needs to be true on the way towards that path. Their appreciation of humanity and beauty and life must be true on the way towards that path. But it's all of those things. It's the culmination of those things that makes our school really unique. And that is about culture. Mm-hmm. That's about curriculum. That's about intellectual rigor. That's about how we treat each other. And that's about humanity. And so that's really what makes our school different than a lot of other schools.
That is awesome to hear. And I know you have some updates to talk about, because the last time when you came on the show, we were talking about your virtual school that you had launched. And because of regular session funding, and I'm trying to remind everybody what's happened here in Texas,
Yeah.
funding was actually taken away from schools when it had to do with the virtual schools or distance learning. And so a lot of schools were very, I want to say, disappointed with our legislators at the time because the funding was taken away. A lot of schools like yourselves were ready and prepared to help and serve, families here in the state of Texas. And then all of a sudden, nope, you're not going to do it. And then all of a sudden, special session hit and Senate Bill 15 passed. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But can you give us an update on Great Hearts Online and how it will be able to serve kids across Texas?
Yeah, so it's been a journey. In January, we launched Great Hearts Online, and we built and designed and hired a whole leadership team, a whole faculty fully dedicated to a best-in-class online school. And this is part of what's complicated as we have this conversation. Everyone who's watching this experienced some kind of online instruction last year. But there's a big difference between brick and mortar learning and emergency distance learning. Right. Those things are not the same.
Right.
There's just as big a difference between emergency distance learning and a best-in-class online program. Right. The difference between the two is actually just as large. And so last year we built a best-in-class, designed from the ground up with listening to parents, school, and launched on January 4th. As you shared, Wendy, funding did not come through. And so we had hired teachers to teach in Texas. We had, I think, 1,700 families on our wait list that wanted to go to Great Hearts Online, and we didn't have public funding. And so because parents were asking for it, and because we were so committed to providing
I think we're losing you a little bit, Kurtis. I can hear you, but I know you're frozen right now.
Okay. Can you see me? This is working better.
Let's see. I think you're still frozen at this time. I know Kurtis is talking about while he's trying to get his internet up and running.
You can hear me? Hello?
Yeah, you're coming in and out. Don't you just love technology, everybody?
Okay. I'm not sure what to do because I can see you.
Okay, now we can see you. You're moving. You're great. I think we can hear you now. Okay. You're back with us.
Sorry about that.
No apology. It's technology.
It happens. It happens.
Yes.
Infrastructure. So we didn't have public funding to continue with public charter Great Hearts Online. Based on parents asking, we launched a private school.
Wow.
And we launched a nonprofit tuition-based Great Hearts Online school in Texas because that was the path that we had available to us. That's how we could pay our teachers and provide that option to families. And so
let me repeat that. You actually switched from a virtual school because of the lack of the funding that happened in session, and you opened a private school. But just in layman's term, what I'm understanding is you weren't charging a tuition to parents who want kids to attend, your private school, correct?
No, we were charging a tuition because it was the only way we could pay our teachers.
Okay. And then how much was that tuition?
It was $8,000 a year.
Okay.
It costs us about $8,600 per student to educate in Great Hearts Online. And so
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So that's what we did, really to provide as much as we could, a choice for families. And so throughout the whole way, our parents have been so involved in calling their elected representatives and coming with me to testify in Austin. And so we're grateful for SB 15 passing because it allows us to go back to what we were hoping to do, which is to provide a choice and an option publicly funded to students across the state to attend Great Hearts Online.
Yeah, I think that's a great option. I know, and the reason why I'm bringing up the cost of it, because I could tell you here in Houston, and I know you're in San Antonio, but um, in Houston, the private schools are very expensive. I've seen them for 30,000 a year. I've seen them for 20, or I've seen them very high. So, I mean, for 8,000, that's not a lot, but I mean, for parents to say, hey, we want to continue to have this, it's really great to hear from parents, because I believe, and I'm saying this with COVID, parents are speaking up more, saying this is what we want and we want this now, right?
Yeah.
And so it's exciting to hear them saying, no, we don't want you to get rid of the school. I'm glad you're doing this option. Please continue. And then my question is, you keep bringing about the parents. Did Great Hearts connect with parents and ask what they truly wanted, and then what they were looking for in a school? And then now everybody, I'm going to reiterate, we're talking about Texas before here. And I'm going to share my screen a little bit so Kurtis can kind of tell us more about his connection with his parents.
Yeah. So let me, thank you so much, Wendy, for pulling that up. So if you go to virtual program results, there we go. We can share a little bit about what parents thought this past year. And then I'll take a few steps backwards to share how we listened and how we learned and how we engaged with families in order to get to this point. So at the end of this 5-month pilot in Texas, students exceeded national average in student performance in reading and math. They outperformed the Texas region in student performance in both reading and math at every grade level. If accountability results had been released, which in Texas they weren't necessarily released, Great Hearts Online would have received an A92 in Domain 2 school progress in reading. So if you scroll down just a little bit more, 100% of eligible tested students met the student progress measure. So the headline is, kids learned and they grew in a 5-month period of time attending Great Hearts Online. As a parent, I know a lot of parents are concerned about academic slides and are my students getting and receiving what they need to get and receive to be successful from an academic perspective. I'm really excited and honored to share that students did really well in our school last year. And that is connected, but also separate from parent satisfaction. We sent a parent survey in February, if you scroll down a little bit more, about satisfaction attending Great Hearts Online. 85% of families said that they were more satisfied with Great Hearts Online than any school they were in before. That includes whether they were in brick and mortar private school, brick and mortar public or charter school, homeschool, virtual, regardless of the platform. Families were happier being in our school than what they did before. And were really satisfied with what was happening for their students, with the relationships they were building with their teachers, and what that meant for them as a family. So that's something that we're really proud of.
Wow.
We believe deeply in parent partnership.
And you also have like the teacher satisfactions. Why family chose Great Hearts Online?
Yeah, so this is part, Wendy, of your question. Way back, I think when we first talked, when I first joined your show, we're doing a lot of work and thinking about what are parents looking for? Why would they want to go to an online school? What is the value that we can provide to families? And there's 4 that we're really focusing on. One is a lot of parents across the country, across the state, are looking for a classical liberal arts model. They like the type of education, the type of approach, the pedagogy, the text, the richness of it. And they're looking for that. And Great Hearts is the largest brick and mortar classical school system in the United States.
Oh, wow.
And Great Hearts Online is remote access to what is a classical liberal arts institution. That's valuable for families. Mm-hmm. The other thing is we really believe deeply in a robust school community. That might seem strange saying we're talking about online, but we have 15 kids or fewer in a live class. And that's a very expensive choice to make from a staffing perspective. But we believe in classroom and school communities.
Right.
And so we do a number of things in terms of small class sizes, in terms of in-person events, in terms of, online lunch bunches where kids get to come together to have lunch and talk and be in conversation. We do a lot to build community because the relationships between a teacher and a student and students with each other and with students and the content, this is all about relationships, regardless of whether it's online or in person. And so we really thought that was important. It mattered a lot to us. And so we're going to make that increasingly valuable and important. A third one is a closer parenting perspective. There are parents, not all, but there are parents who are like, I want to be more involved in the education and the formation, the growing up of my child.
Right.
I want this to be more hands-on. I want to have more integration in my life. I don't want school to be a place where I drop off my kids and then maybe I hear about it on a Saturday from them, right? I want to have greater integration. I want a closer parenting perspective to what is happening for my child. And that, again, that partnership between teachers and parents for the student. And so we think that's really important. And that's part of a value. That's part of how we set things up. Also with building those really close relationships with families. And then finally, time and place flexibility. You could go to grandma and grandpa's house on the opposite side of the state for 2 months and not miss anything academically in terms of school. And so there's a lot of flexibility within schedule. And so we got here by talking to parents, by having focus groups, by listening to what mattered to them, by putting this out there and asking for feedback against it. And then when we did surveys, we checked to see, is what we think parents are looking for actually what they value?
Right.
And the answer to that question is yes. And so we'll continue to tweak and evolve and make changes every day. But this is, after listening to families, this is what we're trying to achieve and build with our school.
That is so awesome to hear. I'm going to stop sharing for a second and bring us back here. I mean, it's great that you're connecting with the families. I know because at National Parents Union, we also do a monthly poll. And our September poll, actually, parents are stating that parents are looking for school leaders to re-image education. And that's exactly what you guys are doing. Because in our poll, it stated that 57% of our parents say that additional federal funding opens the door to make bold changes in public education, and we should take advantage of that opportunity. Yeah. So it's great that you guys are connecting with these families and saying, what do you want? What would you like to see? And also not just hearing the good stuff, like it's also getting the feedback, like, what do I not like seeing, So it's great to hear that is being connected with families. And I think one of the things here, and the big drastic thing that I like to talk about to kind of bring back, is Senate Bill 15, the virtual learning, and something that we need to share a little bit more, because I know parents are still not quite understanding Senate Bill 15. And I know you're learning as well as all these other schools, because changes are being made. It went into law, and there's a limitation cap on, Senate Bill 15. So does the enrollment cap apply to Great Hearts Online, and how does that work?
We're in the process of applying to waive that enrollment cap. The bill has a number of different aspects in it. One of those aspects is that programs like ours that operated statewide last year are allowed some increased flexibility. And so I'm happy to share that. Come November 1, we're relaunching Great Hearts Online Texas as a publicly funded school in Texas, and we'll be enrolling students across the state. And we're going to be enrolling 800 students at first. We're actively enrolling now, so if you're interested, please apply. We're making offers. We made 600 offers last week.
Oh,
And
wow.
so we have 1,800 students on the wait list. And so going through that. But we're going to launch with 800 students come November 1. And then as families continue to apply, we'll increase and serve more this academic year. So if you don't get in for some reason on that November 1 date, maybe December 1, maybe January, right? So I am really excited to share that we'll be able to serve statewide and serve a
That's
large population of families.
That is awesome. But I know, like, when we last talked to Great Hearts, will be able to not only help just anybody that wants to apply, families that are interested in Great Hearts, but also to help homeschoolers or even private schools, school students in Texas. How does that work?
Yeah, so one of the things that we learned in terms of the interpretation of SB 15 is that if a family, so there are a number of eligibility requirements in it. If you go to our website, www.greatheartsonline.org, there is a section about Texas eligibility. It's pretty complicated. As families apply, we will walk them through the steps to go through that eligibility process. So I just want to name that on the front end. One of the exciting things we learned is that if you are a family that is currently homeschooling or currently in private school, or last year was homeschooling, or last year was in private school, you can be eligible to attend Great Hearts Online and be publicly funded. That's actually a big difference than in years past. And so part of what we're finding is attending our school is a wonderful asset for homeschool families or families who are kind of in that world, because they want to be deeply involved in their kids' education. They want to have that closer parenting perspective. They love the curriculum and model that we have that's out there. And to give to expert teachers the teaching and the planning and the instruction and the grading and the interventions and the IEPs and the ELL services and the 504s, to partner with a professional organization to provide the academic model and core while still being close to it and involved is the dream of a lot of homeschool families. And so we're really excited about that piece that allows us to former homeschool, former private school families get funding. It's a big deal.
I do have to say, with Senate Bill 15, it has made a lot of changes, because here in Texas, we have some really what I call crazy laws that sometimes make it difficult for families, depending on what type of school they want to go to, especially if a parent went from a public school to now homeschooling. There are steps that a parent has to take, and sometimes cannot go from homeschooling back to a public school if they wanted to. There's steps. So to hear you say that Senate Bill 15 has made those changes, and I think it's great that families can take advantage of that, to have that more, because if they still want to homeschool but they don't want to go to a brick and mortar, they can go to a virtual school and have all of that support involved, without going through all these like steps that they need to do before they can actually go into the school or apply for the school. So that's the reason why I'm kind of bringing this up, because I know in Texas we have all these like laws. So when you hear this law and then you hear the old law, this is what reason why me and Kurtis are like here going, wow, this is actually a big thing here in Texas because of the laws that have been put in the past. And
That's right.
I think now is, I know with family, with my own family members, is how will Great Hearts Online support students with special challenges? And what does that look like? How does a day look like for a student? Because I know some families weren't, excited when they had to do, now I know that's distance learning, it's not virtual school, but they struggled. So how is, Great Hearts supporting this, the special challenges community?
Yeah, absolutely. So we desperately want to create, and are striving and working to create, a community where all students thrive and are seen, and think that's a important part of creating a community, of creating a culture of humanity. And so I'm just if I start tearing up, it's because I'm really excited about the work that we're doing for students with IEPs. Not only are they getting full services because of the flexibility in an online school, their teachers, their SPED teachers, their home classroom teachers are able to work together and be side by side a lot. And parents are actually having biweekly meetings with our SPED coordinator. So let me just say that again. If you're the parent of a student with an IEP, not only is your student getting supports and accommodations and modifications and interventions aligned to their IEP, but you as a parent also have check-ins with the head of that department to provide you with support so that we can be in partnership for your child. That kind of deep partnership is part of what we're trying to strive to do. Mm-hmm. Similar students with dyslexia, a lot of these accommodations, a lot of these modifications actually naturally occur in the online format, right? More time, right. Watching again, listening, like all of that is actually naturally embedded into our format and our structure and our way of doing school. And so students are finding a lot of success. We hear from parents about, kids who are struggling with reading, who had dyslexia, becoming avid readers in really short order. We hear about students not with IEPs or not with 504 plans or whatnot, but who were shy, who didn't want to speak out loud, who were struggling to find their confidence in the small class format of Great Hearts Online, and with some of the comfort and relationship building of having school at home, which is different than homeschooling, right? But school at home. These students have just come alive and become much more who they are, much more confident, and are raising their hand to read out loud instead of not. And so there's really beautiful how we've been able to support families and students in different ways.
That is awesome to hear, because I know, like I said, a lot of families do bring up that question when they are searching for another, a different school option, and to hear how would you support my student? And it's a good thing to also bring about supporting the parent, because we do need that support. A lot of times I know when I had my niece, and when I had custody of my niece, she's dyslexic. And I knew nothing of that. So at the same time, I was being educated and also learning my rights, but I was also getting that support system. I did it outside of the school, but I also had some support systems within the school. So I think it's great that you're doing both, especially, students that are struggling, because I know a lot of students struggle during this distance learning, students with challenges. And I can't just say one particular one. I mean, whether it's a student with autism or a student with dyslexia, at least there's support systems out there that you're trying to do. And then also constantly having that connection with the families and the student itself. I think that's great that's on there, because like I said, a lot of students struggled when it came to what I call a pandemic learning.
That's right. Because emergency distance learning is put together as a Band-Aid, right? Not as a full solution. And so what we built, what we're doing, that's why we didn't launch until last January, is because we were building a full academy plan and solution, which is different than the patchwork one, right? And so one thing I'll say is that last Thursday, we had an info session, and people can go to our Facebook page on Facebook, Great Hearts Online Texas. And we had parents, we had students, and we had faculty all talking during that info session about their experience. And so if you're a parent and you want to, don't take my word for it. You want to hear from parents. You want to hear from kids. You want to start to get a sense for the teachers who are instructing your children. You can go ahead and watch that video.
Yeah, I think that's great. And are you going to have some future info sessions coming up?
I'm sure we will. We're continuing to communicate. Parents have a lot of questions about our school, and we want to continue to engage and not just respond, on phone or via email, but show. And having info sessions is a great way of showing the people, showing the heart, showing the parents. So more information sessions will be shared from our Facebook page.
That is great. So I know I always encourage families, if a school has info sessions, attend them, whether it's virtual, in person, or even if you just need to contact them to ask your questions. Have questions ready. Write down all your questions for the schools or even your concerns. Like I just mentioned about how they would help special, challenges, students or the community. Have your questions ready. It's great to go to those info sessions because not only that, you're able to connect with parents, and I'm assuming parents can chat with other parents to kind of get more info. Is that correct?
Yeah, we answer questions live during our information sessions. There's also a parent Facebook page. I believe it's called Friends of Great Hearts Online. It's parent run. It's not ours. People join it. They ask questions. Parents connect with each other. They problem solve things. And so feel free to go to join that as well, because that is not organized by Great Hearts Online, by me or my team, but it's actually organized by parents who are trying to answer the questions of each other and provide supports to each other. And so let me just confirm that really quickly. Yes, there we go. Friends of Great Hearts Online.
That is great. So that's a Facebook page, correct?
It's a Facebook page. Yep.
Well, that's great to know that parents are actually doing that. I know all of us are into these
Very
Facebook pages.
Very active. Very active.
So that's great to hear that parents can actually go to another site that's not ran by you guys, but it's also ran by parents. And so they can ask, authentic, deep questions, knowing that they're connecting a parent to a parent. So that's another great way, everybody, to connect and find out about a school. Or even, I know one of our Texas partners, San Antonio Charter Moms, Inga Cotton, also has a Facebook page discussion where you can also ask questions as well. When you want general questions about public charter schools. For Great Hearts, I think it's great to jump into that one and connect with parents and asking them, how was their experience? How was their child experience? How was it with, the first time they first went and enrolled and the first couple of days of school? What support systems? What was the teacher-student ratio? What was, there's a lot of questions to ask. And like I said, it's great to go to those info sessions. So everybody, I put the link up here and also have the link of the information on the description field. And I will be putting this in the comment field as well for everyone. So if you want to learn about Great Hearts, you got it. They're offering the info session. They have a parent Facebook group that you can connect with parents directly. I think it's reminding us, what grades will you be serving here in Texas, Kurtis?
Yeah, great question, Wendy. So this coming year will be K-8. Last year we were K-6. This coming year will be K-8.
Wow.
Great Hearts Online is also a public charter school in Arizona where we're K-8. We have over 600 students in Great Hearts Online, Arizona. We'll be launching with 800 students in Great Hearts Online, Texas on November 1st. So if you go to our website, greatheartsonline.org, that's where you can learn more. But also apply on the website. The SB 15 does have a number of student eligibility requirements. And again, we'll be walking through those eligibility requirements with families. But it does make it a little bit trickier. And there's a little bit more back and forth because of that. So we're doing our best. This is our first time meeting SB 15 requirements. And so we're doing our best to walk through those with families. As we get ready for November 1st launch.
And then what is the deadline for parents to complete an application to apply?
There's not a deadline,
okay,
but there is a wait list. So the sooner you apply, the sooner the lower your number is on that wait list, the faster you'll get an offer. If you wait, and all the people who apply before you will be closer to 1 or 0 on the wait list to getting an offer. So we encourage families to apply as soon as they're interested. We'll also be opening up our application portal for next year for the 22-23 academic year for Great Hearts Online in the coming weeks. So if you're not interested in right now, but you're interested in the future, still go to our website, check it out, attend an information session, and you can apply for either this year or you can apply for next year.
And that's the same for any families that are in Arizona as well, correct?
That's correct. Also for families in Arizona. Yep.
Okay, great. And I think it's, if families want additional information, how do they, who do they contact?
So you should first email our info at, there we go. Thank you so much, Wendy. info@greatheartsonline.org. It goes directly to our team at Great Hearts Online. Well, they'll be answering questions from, am I eligible? What are eligibility requirements? Do you have a schedule for the school? So, we do a lot of work to answer questions of parents. Some of those questions, that's where we get our information session topics from, right? Everyone's asking about X. Okay, let's do an information session where we can really explore that and go deep and share. And so email info@greatheartsonline.org to start learning more. And then go to our Facebook page, follow our Facebook page, so that when there is an information session that really goes deeper into some of these topics, you get a reminder to attend.
That is awesome to know that they can actually have different ways of getting information and then contacting you directly if they have additional information that they didn't get answered. So yeah. I think that's great. I think it's a lot of information for families, for them. I think this is a great option, not only for Texas, but for Arizona families as well. I mean, I love the fact that, and one more thing I wanted to bring it, because I know when we talked, the last time we talked, you also are doing micro schools.
Yes.
So kind of walk us through that. And that's another option, everybody, for, this is what I love about schools is they're not only, offering one option, they're offering another option. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Wendy, it does go back to, I think, something you said in the beginning of our conversation today, which is that, parents are looking for not only, they want choices and more choices than previously. There's a really interesting report that came out last week. It's from Bellwether Education Partners. Bellwether is a kind of national education leader. And they found that over the last 18 months, the parents of 10.8 million kids did not get what they wanted from their kids' school, representing nearly 1 in 5 U.S. children. That's a lot. And so, again, we're listening to parents. We launched Great Hearts Online, and that is working really, really well for a lot of parents. But we're also going to be piloting micro schools. And so for families that are enrolled in Great Hearts Online, coming together in local community to attend Great Hearts Online together, but also with enrichment in the afternoon and later in the day. We have 2 to 4 people I've actually interviewed last week who will be selecting as micro school founders across Texas and Arizona. As these things move forward, as we finalize who these founders are and where they're going to start, we'll share more information. But again, this is about providing choices to families based on what they want, based on what they're looking for. And micro schools provides the depth and flexibility of Great Hearts Online, because that's the school underneath the community, with the in-person socialization and wraparound services. And so we're really excited about this as an option. If you're hearing this and you're like, I run a homeschool co-op, or I'm really committed, like we're actually recruiting right now 4 people to be founders, 4 people to be Great Hearts micro school founders. And so this is also on our website. There's a link on greatheartsonline.org for micro schools, and you can read a little bit more. Apply now if you're interested in founding a Great Hearts micro school, leading one. But also keep an eye out as we move from recruiting and planning and piloting to actually launching some micro schools in some communities this January.
That is awesome to hear. So everybody, what I just pulled up is Great Hearts, their website, which I have here. And you see on our screen is actually, I just clicked, it does say micro school, and it gives you all the information about what is a micro school, what are Great Heart micro schools, the difference between that, and how to get started. I think this is really great. And then they can submit the information here if they're interested, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Submit their information. We have a director of micro schools who joined our team in July. He runs a micro school himself in Atlanta, so he's an expert in this, and so he'll provide coaching and supports to our micro school founders as they get up and going. We also have a Facebook page for that, Great Hearts Micro Schools, right? So you can search for that on Facebook, follow us there. Providing options to parents, providing choices to parents, providing different models for parents for different reasons is really important. And having a strong academic core, right? Our mission, our curriculum, our pedagogy as the core underneath that provides a lot of quality and is pointed in the right direction. And so we're really excited about these options for families and kids.
I applaud you guys for providing these options for families, connecting with them and hearing their voices and saying, like, this is what we want, this is what we're looking for. And maybe a parent is not looking for a virtual school, but maybe a micro school, because maybe that's what they had planned when this pandemic hit. They've been doing this, they want to continue to stay within that. But it's great that Great Hearts is looking into that and also helping families start one up with a support system. Everything is here on your website. I was like, it's very easy, guys, to come on the website, even to enroll. I mean, I just went here where it says enroll to Great Hearts, apply now. And I mean, it's like easy peasy to get to it. And then the parent can actually register to for the virtual school, or as well as information on the micro schools. And I think it's really great and simple for families. You have a lot of information on your website. But I do want to say, Kurtis, I applaud you for providing different options for families. Most schools, I mean, schools are open to that, but I think you guys are really pushing that, pencil to say, hey, families, we're hearing you. This is what you want. We're giving this to you. Tell us more. And I think, it's great to hear all this from families in regards to that. And
thanks, Wendy. I think our parents, the parents who were with us last year, are guiding our steps every way, and have just been phenomenal in advocating, providing feedback and partnering. And so, while we have ideas and everyone is working very hard, parents are shaping what we do and where we go and why. And that's an important part of how we're doing this and how we're moving forward.
And as Kurtis mentioned, they have a Facebook page. If you're willing to look into that as well, you can see it here on the screen. We have it there if you want to check them out on Facebook. As he mentioned, there is a parent group. Join that parent group. Ask those questions. Check out their website to learn more about their info sessions that are coming up. It's a great way to learn about a school if you're still searching for a school option for your child. And then also, if you're looking into micro school, I think it's great. There's so many things here. I've never had a school that had all of these different components, and I'm like, whoa, I'm overwhelmed here. But exciting. It's a good overwhelm.
Yeah.
But Kurtis, thank you so much for explaining more about what schools are facing, especially with, Senate Bill 15, what you guys are going through, but also congrats for giving Texas families as well. I understand Arizona has been up and running, but for Texas families, giving them another option with virtual schools or even micro schools, I applaud you for that. And thank you so much for listening to families and, even leaders within the community saying, this is what we want to see here in Texas.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Wendy. It's certainly been my honor and our honor. And thanks for having me on your show today. I really appreciate it.
Yes. And everyone, make sure to share this information with your friends and families that will benefit from, this school, whether you're looking into the micro schools, the virtual schools, however, their information. If you have questions, I will have all of this in the love to have, a parent come on here and then tell us about their experience with the virtual school, or even if, once you're ready to do the micro school, because that's one I'm still learning about micro school.
Yeah.
So it would be great to hear more about that as well.
Well, I'd be more than happy to. It would be our honor.
And everyone, thanks for joining us. I do have a couple of announcements that I wanted to make. If you want to learn more about the National Parents Union Texas region, you can join our Facebook page. Let me pull that up because we do have a Facebook. Oops, I got great hearts here. For National Parents Union, you can go to our website to learn more about our membership as well if you're interested in becoming a member, or you can reach me at wendy@mpunion.org. It is a free membership. There's no obligation to that. We're here to support and amplify parent voices like you, and as well as a partner as well. If you have an organization that wants to partner with us, apply. It is free. There is no obligation to applying for National Parents Union. We do have a Texas Facebook group, our National Parents Union Texas region group. Join that Facebook, see what's happening in our region, see what we're doing, seeing what training sessions, and as well as partners that are putting their information in our Facebook pages, as well as, we were mentioning Kurtis. You will see his information as well on our sites. Make sure to check that out. I know schools are doing the best they can and trying to support us, but parents, you are the driver in the seat. You have that voice and you know your child best. So if you need any support, you know that you can reach out National Parents Union. And hope that this show has given you all the information that you need for the Parent Connection. Thank you so much for tuning in, and wait until next week when we have another episode of My Child, My Voice Parent Connection. Until then, everyone, stay healthy, sending good spirits, good vibes to you. Thank you for watching, and have a great night. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.